Ooh, we get an intro. Nice.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my so-called Gen X life and my so-called book club. My name is Natalie. This is my channel where we talk all things 70s, 80s, and 90s. Tonight is our book club night. We're reading a book from 1997 called The Fourth Turning by William Strauss and Neil Howe. Joining me as always is Grendelson. Yay! Channel subscriber, channel member, channel mod. What's up, Grendelson?
Not much. What's up, Natalie?
Oh, you know, things.
Things and
I hit
I
hit 100,000 subscribers today.
Oh
so,
my
no,
God,
no
you
big
did
whoop.
not.
No big whoop.
You did not.
I did. It happened this morning. Yeah, I think that deserves some applause. Make it some applause. So thank you everyone for watching my videos and for my live streams and sharing them and commenting and subscribing and all that good stuff. It's wild. I never in a million years, you know, when I first started this channel just as an outlet for my own creativity to become what it has. But I'm very, very grateful. So thank you everyone for the support of the channel. And thank you, Grendelson, for joining me every Tuesday and talking about books.
It's my pleasure. It's been a great couple of months that we've been doing this, and I'm super happy. And I just enjoy getting on screen and you know, the fuzzy mics thing. I had to up my game because, you know, I'm like I need better equipment here. So fuzzy mic, you know, is like $1 on freaking Amazon. So there you go. And I got the new Generation X wallpaper this evening. I like to change that up every evening. Oh, did you see good news? Prim, Nevada is not actually closing now.
Really?
Yes. They were going to close the whole thing.
I thought that was, so they're not going to do it. What happened?
No, they found a operator to come in and take over all of the businesses, and they're going to get it up and running and make it nice again.
Wow.
Which I sure would like, because I do enjoy going to Vegas every now and again, and I do like going to Prim. And I thought it was a little bit of a shame that Prim was going down. So I'm actually
very sad.
Kind of happy about that. And
well, hopefully it will get rebuilt.
There was another Gen X news, and I thought, but I forgot what it was. So
mustn't have been very important.
Later.
Well, if you think of it, just, you know, throw it into the conversation when it pops back into your head.
Yeah.
All right. So tonight we are tackling chapter 6 of The Fourth Turning by Strauss and Howe. This chapter focuses on the first turning, the American high, more specifically the last American high that we've had, which was from 1946 to 1964, post World War II. The only people that were alive for this are older than Gen X. So boomers and older are the only ones to have experienced a first turning. We have never experienced one, and obviously the youngers have never either. And I think that is one of the big divides between the generations, is the fact that we have never got to experience what our parents and grandparents got to experience. And that's really skewed, you know, our experiences as Americans, as you know, as just people of our generation. Just when you've never experienced the good or the really, really good, but you know it was there, you know. So tonight we're going to talk about that first turning, and also what we think the next first turning could possibly look like. Yeah. So
based on what we've learned about previous first turnings, what is going to be happening?
Right.
Hopefully earlier than 2032.
Right.
Since that's the that's the I believe that's the year that is the furthest out that could
of the
be
window. Yeah.
Window, so,
yeah.
You know,
2028 to 2032, I believe, is the window.
6 more years of this crisis situation. I'm really hoping it resolves itself.
Right. And and we were talking before we came on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is I'm really hoping that that this crisis that we've actually had counts as our bad crisis, and it just kind of tapers downwards, and we go into we open, something happens, and we open up into a nice high, and
right. Well, there's going to be a resolution of some kind. There's got to be.
Yeah, there will be.
Yeah.
Something will happen.
So. But hopefully it's not a violent, bloody resolution. Hopefully it's not. Well, the problem is that every other resolution of the fourth turning into a first is a major war.
Yeah,
is a violent major war.
Yeah, and let's just hope that if it is a war, that it's short, and it's short, and it doesn't kill too many people.
My camera just went off. Hold on. I got to switch
for a minute. Okay, so you do that, and I will welcome everybody who's in the chat.
Yes, please do.
Let's see. I'm going to go backwards. I see Rachel. Hey, sorry you're late. No problem. Anarchy Sig. I don't have my glasses, so I can't really read very well. But
all right.
I actually make my screen bigger.
Anna Krasig is her. Anna. We'll just call Anna. Is my. I like to shorten them.
Even your husband, 59, Jen Jones, only got a little bit of that. He relates more to old Gen X than Jen Jones. Yeah, I hear you. I don't know though. 59. That's not really Jen Jones, but whatever.
Yeah, it's right on the cusp of Jen Jones.
It's right on the cusp. Matt, hello.
I just switched to my webcam because my good cam is low on battery and I didn't charge it. That was on me.
Ooh,
I've had a lot of live stream. I had a live stream. I had a 5-hour live stream on Friday, like a 2 or 3 hour live stream on Sunday, and I just haven't. So yes. I'm going to be in a bad camera tonight.
Yes. Amber Ways of Grain, welcome. You have a lot of withdrawn library books. Veracruz B. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Welcome. Matthew Badura, hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey, how you doing?
And welcome to everybody that's watching the replay later.
Yeah. We like you too.
Yes.
We like those comments too. Drop the comments if you have a question that we don't cover. Drop the comments. We'll take a look at them. We'll answer questions in the comments. We'll also love you have some questions or concerns or feedback or topics to discuss. Let's hear them. We
100%
want to be interactive. This is a club. You're all club members.
That's right. Members only club.
ID cards too. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We should have ID cards, and like every time you show up to a live stream, you get a punch. And then at the end of the book club, if you made all the live streams, and you get a special you only stream with the both of us where you can ask 5 minutes of questions.
Ooh, wow. I like that.
I'm always thinking. Do all
that. Make all that for me.
Okay, I'll do that.
Have a digital punch card.
Right, digital punch card.
I like. Yep, lesson backup cameras. And that's my own thing.
Into my computer, so
yeah.
If mine screws up, I guess I have to go to my phone, which that would be interesting. But
yeah. Hey, I've live streamed from my phone before. It can work.
Yeah. In fact, speaking of which, I should go on Do Not Disturb so that I don't get disturbed during.
Yeah, I don't want to be disturbed.
I don't want to be disturbed.
I'm trying to fix my.
I am disturbed already, so I don't want to be more disturbed.
Well, I didn't want to say nothing.
No, absolutely. No, I you can call me whatever you want as long as it ain't late for dinner.
Nice. Yes, you can apply for dispensation since you've only missed one. We'll allow one. We'll give you one mulligan.
I missed one. We missed one this week. So
I missed one last week, right?
It's so funny too, is like last week I totally blazed and forgot that we had a live stream because I forget.
Oh, damn.
And then like I felt really bad about it until I looked at my email that at like 9:30 at night that night. I was like, oh, I didn't miss anything. I feel so much better. Oh, Natalie's not feeling good. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'll see her on Friday. I'll talk to her on Friday at the
That's right.
live stream, and then on Sunday at the other live stream, and like, oh my God, 3 live streams in 4 days. What the heck?
I know. I've been live streaming like crazy. So after tonight, I'm going to take a break, but I got a big one coming up on Friday. It's my 100K live stream.
We got a party.
Yeah, and I got a special guest coming in for the first hour.
Oh my God. Yes, let's pimp that.
Yeah, I got Patrick Labrador from Little House on the Prairie and Heathers and Summer School and Jag, one of the some great TV shows and movies of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. He's going to be joining me on Friday, and it's going to be awesome. I'm excited. Little House is my favorite show of all time, so I'm pretty pumped.
Can I reserve the question about Blazing Saddles, please?
Yes, you may. I will let you ask it.
That is one thing I'm very, very interested in. I want to know how that was, what happened, what he was doing.
How he became a Baby Johnson.
I think I can see him in the movie in my mind's eye because it's
1,000
times, and I have it on DVD. So I will
watch it again. I'm gonna pull up some clips. Have some clips ready.
Please do, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, I'm so excited for you. That is 100,000. Your second big, because don't forget you had Corin Nemesic on too.
Yeah, I did. I had Corin. Corin came on really early in my channel. He was very, very kind.
I saw that.
I should have him back.
I don't think I was around, but I've gone back and looked at that. I thought that was awesome.
And, it was very cool.
100,000, your second big guest. You're going to be going to the YouTube Awards one of these days. And you can start going to VidCon. Yeah,
no, that's true.
Go to VidCon, meet up with some of my other favorite YouTubers.
I might try to, get into that, starting in 27, try to, start doing some more creator type things.
Well, if you start doing more on the roads, live streams and stuff, that stuff is so freaking popular.
Yeah. I'm going to definitely. Yeah, definitely try to get into all that. So it's going to be fun. So we'll just see where the channel goes. And, it's been great. And I appreciate everybody's support. So it's going to be fun. Hopefully I can enjoy it in the first turning. What is my channel going to look like in the first turning? But we were talking before the stream started about, I wonder what our grandparents and great grandparents felt like in 1941 and 1942. And could they even imagine what life was going to be like 5-10 years from then? Within 5 years, the war would be over. The bombs would be dropped. The soldiers were coming home. Industry was going back to its original purpose and not making wartime things. And then there was a huge financial boom. There was the government invested in its infrastructure and in its middle class, through everything from suburbs to highway systems to GI Bills to just all kinds of things. So, but sitting in 1941 on December 7th, when you get the news that Pearl Harbor has been attacked, it's how they had just been through the Depression. The Depression was still lingering. War was starting. Men were getting drafted. 500,000 soldiers died in those few years. So could they have even thought about what life could have been like in 5 to 10 years from then in 1941?
Yeah, and as we were saying, hardly any of us can actually ask anybody or thought to ask anybody who was around at that time that very question. My grandparents were, wartime participants. Both my grandfathers were served. My one grandfather I never met, so I have no idea, what his experience was. He was an officer and he was also an engineer, and so I think he mostly stayed in England and made bombs and drones and stuff. But my other grandfather, he was a regular GI, and he wouldn't talk about his experience at all.
That's where my grandfather, my grandfather was GI.
And that wasn't very uncommon amongst the people amongst that experience, my experience meeting as many people who did fight in World War II as I did, and I met quite a few over the years. Because they're my grandparents' friends.
Yes, exactly.
My grandparents' friends, I knew a lot of my grandparents' friends. I knew a lot of them.
Yeah.
So, and you could talk about them. Once I got older and I was like a teenager and they were still alive in their 70s and 80s, I would ask them. I wanted to know a little bit more about their experiences, and they wouldn't talk about it, dude. They would not. And it was really sad. Whereas I often found the complete opposite about people who were in Korea and Vietnam. They'll be like blabbermouth. They'll be like, yeah, it was great. My dad couldn't stop talking about the year and a half he spent in Vietnam as if it was the greatest time of his entire life.
Yeah. And all the movies and media we get about that time period mostly focuses on the war itself or the politics of the time and not really what the people were going through. There was a TV show in the 90s called Homefront that was out for a couple of years.
That was a good show. Oh, there's a great movie called Swing Shift too with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Yes.
I think it's 1983 and it takes place during the war, and it's all about life at home during the war.
Right.
That's really good movie.
I should put that on the movie list for Monday nights on the Discord, because that would be a good one to watch. Yeah. Swing Shift is fantastic. Agreed.
Yeah, it's one of those early Kurt and Goldie movies. Where their chemistry is their chemistry is great anyway. I love them.
It is. I love them. They're
my Gen X icons, you know what I mean? Like I worship them as icons of the boomer era, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. They appeared in one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. It's when they first met, but they didn't meet. It was from 1968 called The One and Only Genuine Original Family Band. It's a live action musical.
Yeah. That's it.
It's a live action musical about the 1888 presidential election. It's fantastic. I'm going to show it on the Monday Night Movie before too long. It's one of my favorites. It has John Davidson and Leslie Ann Warren and Buddy Ebsen, and it's fantastic.
Young Leslie Ann Warren.
Yes. So
I know she was great in Annie, but come on, that was 1982, and you're talking 1968.
Yeah, she was amazing in her. Yep, she was great. So, anyways, the first turning. Let's get into the first part of the chapter here and talk about. Let's see how they described it. Let me bring up the
American
book. The American High.
I'll salute that. Let's get American High.
Yes, amen. Yay, American High. I like that. I should start having that as a segment in my live streams. Take a moment for an American High, and we all take a hit.
First turning in the American High. Thank you very much. For you.
I like it. Okay. As I read through this, I'll let you keep an eye on the chat just in case there's anything that's going on that you want me to bring up or interject. And I will read these first couple of paragraphs. On VJ Day, August 15th, 1945, peace had been declared, but America remained mobilized for total war. The nation had been locked in crisis for as long as anyone could remember, and the landscape looked it. Harbors bristled with warships, highways with convoys, depots with war material, bureaucracies with war planners, factories with war workers, still geared for production. Assembly lines were expected to shut down just as millions of veterans came home needing work. A return to pre-war class conflict seemed inevitable. The eminent sociologist Gunnar Myrdal warned of a coming radicalization of labor and an epidemic of violence. The first threat of this came a few months after VJ Day when auto workers went on strike against General Motors. The strike fizzled. In what came to be known as the Treaty of Detroit, GM and the auto workers worked out an amicable deal. At no other time in U.S. history have labor's demands been so plausible, cheered Fortune's editors. There was no going back to the 1930s. These were new times for teamwork and trust. Through the heart-wrenching victories and reversals of global war, Americans had wavered between a bright ideal of social unity and a dark recollection of social conflict. They thirsted to belong to a secure order, something strong and universal and beyond argument. I thought that was quite the line there. That was how they described the American culture, I guess, as VJ Day came and went. The heart-wrenching victories and reversals of global war, wavering between bright ideal of social unity and dark recollection of social conflict. Do you think that we as a society are thirsting to belong to a secure order, something strong and universal and beyond argument? Do you think that's where we are as a society now, or do you think that will be the same reaction once we get through this?
That's a great question. I think that I think there's a lot of people who are definitely ready for that, but I do think that there's a lot of people who don't see that as being a positive experience, so they're railing against it as well.
Right.
And again, because we don't have any frame of reference as to what it would be like, we're afraid of it no matter what.
Right.
So, yeah, I think the people as a whole definitely do want unity, but what are we going to unite under? What umbrella are we all going to be able to unite under? Because it doesn't seem like there's common ground currently. And it doesn't appear, I mean, I can't tell if it's getting any better or getting any worse.
Right.
Sometimes I feel it kind of ebbs and flows, from day to day.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it's going to take to reunite. There's got to be some sort of reunification at some point. Is one side or the other going to collapse, or are we just going to kind of collapse into the middle, into kind of a black hole where there's just no longer any unity and everybody's just doing
Are we going to balkanize as a nation? And that kind of that's
kind of, I kind of feel like we are sort of, I think we're kind of, instead of being 50 a United States, I feel like we're maybe 7 or 8 regional mega states.
Yeah. And what does that say, and what does that mean for, the federal government and the power of the federal government and, and how they can affect, because our Constitution is based on a federal government, and federal law supersedes states. But
only in as such that it is there's limitations to that, though. The state there's
it's about what's coded in the Constitution, what's made law at the federal level. The states cannot supersede or cannot trump it. But anything else, the states have rights.
Right. But and the 14th Amendment, the States' Rights Amendment, does enshrine a bunch of rights that the federal government can't trample on.
Right. Yeah.
So it only has it can only supersede state law in that it has to have something to do with interstate laws.
Right.
It has to be interstate commerce, or it has to be
in the nation proper. Right. Yeah. Right. Nation currency, voting, stuff like those kinds of things. That has to do with they're whatever in the Constitution. Right. There's the powers given to the federal government in the Constitution. Right, but I and this is why I like looking at the Civil War Seculum more than the World War II Seculum, because that came out of a inner conflict in our own country as opposed to an outer enemy. But who's to say that we won't have an outer enemy coming soon that won't make us coalesce as a nation? I don't know.
Yeah,
does a common enemy unite us, and is that even a possibility anymore? To me, I think balkanization sounds more probable.
I agree.
I hate to say it.
No, of course it doesn't, because splitting the country up and treating it like a bunch of fiefdoms is not
right. It's not.
It's definitely not the answer, and it's going to create a just have and have not situation when it comes to interstate commerce, because the regionalities will starve out the poorer regionalities, and that's just, because they'll do it, because because at that point, if you're going to really do it, the coasts will wipe out the Midwest in terms of just sheer political power.
Yeah, and that's was kind of an antithesis to what the Republic was.
Believe me, please understand, this is not what I am advocating for.
Absolutely. And that's one thing I want to say about these conversations. Yeah. These are not like ideological or political conversations. These are just cultural. We're putting out possibilities of what could happen to our nation based on the history of what is in this book. And we're just throwing out ideas.
What? Yeah. What if the enemy is AI?
Yeah.
Do it.
But here's another thing.
Scary. So what if we create our own enemy? What if we create a false enemy that unites the people in a benevolent order that turns us over into a first turning? I mean, is that out of the realm of possibility?
Well, I don't think it is at all.
Like science fiction to me, but you never know. I mean, and that's something that, like, if you believe in a Rothschild or the Illuminati or Baltimore Grove or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm. Bohemian Grove.
You knew what I meant.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
You knew exactly what I meant. So if you believe in that sort of thing, then that's exactly the kind of false flag that they would do. But hey, if that doesn't hurt people and doesn't kill people, I'm all for it. So let's do it. Let's create some little green men. I don't give a shit. Or
aliens, yes.
What if it's I love watching. I think I brought it up before, that show For All Mankind, which is that retelling of the space race.
Yeah,
and that is a fascinating sociological watch if you watch what goes on that show, because the way that technology changes everything, and the fact that they're so far advanced and have colonies on Mars in 2012 is craziness. But they have all sorts of different issues, completely different issues that have nothing to do with what's going on today, and yet still have the ability to comment on the issues that are going on today.
Yeah,
the greatest science fiction ever.
That's awesome. It's in my queue. I'm gonna watch it. I've seen the first episode, but I definitely want to see it.
Heartbreaking, I'll tell you that. I mean, you get attached to certain characters and they don't last.
Right.
So, but it is worth a watch, and I hope you enjoy it. But it's actually very interesting for Gen X to see something, to see their own history reflected in a cracked mirror.
Right. I mean? Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. I like that.
The mirror cracked. Yeah, that's. I didn't come up with that. It's just.
Well, I'm going to give you credit anyways. Right. The other thing that we haven't mentioned that I think could be a big thing at play here is class warfare.
Big time.
Elites, haves versus the middle class has basically been wiped out at this point. I mean, like they're either you're making six figures and investing and are making your millions and are living in this world, and and you got your college degrees and you got your experts and all this stuff, and you got your government, the people in charge, and then you got the people that are either on government assistance or making such low money that they can't get ahead, like they can't level up, they can't save for their future. Like the middle class has been really, really hit hard in our lifetime. And so I wonder how that plays into the crisis and into the first turning. I honestly don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not, I'm not saying it was a good or bad thing that this has happened, but personally, I would like to have a middle class. But I mean,
I used to be middle class. I'd like to get there again myself.
Yeah, you're up middle class, right?
I got a college degree.
Me too.
Yeah,
but there's a big split. There's a big split in not just incomes, but just and how people make money and how people are able to live. But there's a big split, just how what they believe and what America is, or what we are going to do as a nation, or what. There's different views of our history. There's different views of our future. And like, I just wonder how class will, are we going to be in a Hunger Games type situation at some point? I'm being silly, but you know what I mean? Like,
it's that far. I mean, listen, I don't think you're that far out of the realm of possibilities when, we as a people create more food than we really actually need, but then we can't feed people.
Right.
We have more housing than we can actually use, but we yet have homeless people.
Right.
There are fundamental rock solid issues that we have got to address in this nation before, it all falls apart. So
right.
And not just this nation. I mean, it's every place that has these same issues,
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's places that are it's worse. There's places in America that are better than others. You go to Salt Lake City, you hardly see any homeless folks. I went to San Diego not that long ago, and I didn't see that many. I didn't see hardly in certain parts of San Diego. I didn't see anywhere. I totally expected to.
Yeah.
And then in other parts, I knew where they would be, but not like LA. Not it's not getting any better. So
right. And from where I'm from in the middle part of America, we've in my lifetime, we've lost all of our manufacturing. We've lost all of our factories. We've lost, our industries from coal to oil to gas and minerals and all that stuff has just been decimated. And people, that was a big part of the loss of wealth. Our towns just kind of fell apart and people lost jobs. And then we had the drug issues that came in from pharmaceuticals to, meth and all that stuff. Like it's really changed, where I live, things are falling apart. Things are, we put Band-Aids on bullet wounds kind of a thing. Like nothing gets really fixed or improved, but yet tons of money gets poured into stuff, but yet nothing, like, it's like somebody's getting rich somewhere, but nobody's getting helped. So it's just like this.
It's a vicious cycle, and it's happening everywhere. It's not just it's not just your area. It's happening everywhere. California used to be a veritable hub of manufacturing. There were aircraft plants up and down the coast.
Yeah.
We were most of America's military planes came out of California.
All through California.
And now it's just nothing.
Yeah.
So it's not just, it isn't just that, it's everywhere. Our, roads are terrible. Yeah. Data centers.
Yeah.
It's something will give. Something's got to give soon.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if that's our financial system collapses, if our money becomes that whole thing really worries me as well, is because history tells us that, our currency system cannot last any longer. History tells us that we have maxed out our current Bretton Woods 2 currency. And there's so much debt nationally. The financial systems are so just webs of just corruption and just money that's just being created. And anyways, these are things that but it's just something's going to give. Something has to give. And the question is, what will it be? But let's get into the first turning. What will our first turning look like?
Yes. We're just talking about the first turning shit.
Yeah.
We get to the good part. We're still
let's get to the good parts. Let's see. A month after VJ Day, I'm skipping ahead in the book. I'm on page 146. A month after VJ Day, Life magazine forecast a sharp decline in the U.S. birth rate. Fearing a thinning population and collapsing economy, the U.S. government began planning a massive campaign involving some 200 organizations to provide work relief on the scale of the original New Deal. It wasn't necessary. Upbeat America confounded the pessimists. Veterans mustered out without any hint of riot, cheered by hometown welcomes that didn't stop when the parades were over. As the triumph mood lingered, Fortune praised Americans for having found a positive kind of middle of the road, even if the road itself is now in a different place. Few wanted to re-wage old political or cultural arguments. Instead, returning veterans wanted to get married, have kids, and move into nice homes and productive jobs. I think we can relate with that. The younger generations are definitely going to want to do that. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Well, maybe they don't want to get married and have kids. I mean, younger men and women are at war with each other right now.
No. The gender gap and the differences between is frightening. Nobody wants to get married right now, and people don't want to have kids. And it's hard to blame them.
Yeah. But the turnings, they will tell you as parts of these different turnings here in the book, that one of the things that happens from a fourth into a first is that the gender gap shrinks. No, right. gender gap widens. It widens. There's very distinct roles, and the family becomes very, very strong. Historically, anyways.
Yeah, and see, I kind of feel like that's right now. That would be, if that happens, that would be a reaction to what's happening now with the gender fluidity that is going on in society. And if that happened in the first turning, I don't think it would be seen as a positive. I think for those who have gender issues, the further discussion and the improving of the it's hard to really couch my words carefully, you know what I'm trying to say, because I'm definitely pro transgender. I have a transgender child, so
right.
Come down off this, and I support my kid 100%. And I definitely want to see a world where my kid is accepted, and as are all the other kids who are the same way. And I have
well, just to get into generally, it doesn't have to be about that. It's just family formation, however that looks. However, what do strong family units, or because that's what happened in the first turning after the World War II, was people paired up. However it was, people paired up, formed families, had children, bought homes, got jobs, could that happen in the 2030s and 40s? I think it could, with the right, policies, with the right incentives for things. I mean, we just want to, as a culture, are we going to promote family formations and this kind of a thing? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It doesn't have to look like it did in the 50s. It doesn't have to look like it did 300 years ago, but there's got to be some kind of something to work towards, as far as the families were the basis of a very prosperous society for us as Americans. And whether you want to call it the nuclear family, but it doesn't have to necessarily look like that. But I think that there are things to be worked out, I guess. I mean, we've broken apart so much. People are going no contact with their parents over politics and all this stuff, and so I wonder if there will be reversal. I hope there is a reversal there when it comes to family dynamics and wanting to have babies and continue the culture and continue our country, because right now we're below replacement rates here, and we got to have somebody, they got to have somebody paying into this system for the older people at some point, like
keep our Social Security intact.
Yeah. So yeah, and I agree, and I think Gen X is very marriage and family oriented, which we grew up with divorced parents and all of that going on, and we have become very marriage and family on. I wonder if that confounds the younger generations today who have less. It does, and as their parents, as the parents and grandparents of these younger generations, how do we influence them? How do we guide them or try to help them into having some interest in these types of things, because this is really important for a culture and a civilization to I don't know, have new babies being born.
I can tell you this. I mean, as a parent of a Gen Z,
mm-hmm.
2006, it does kind of break my heart a little knowing that my kid does not want to be a parent. He's told me that already.
Yeah.
He has zero interest in, a relationship or, love in general.
That's so sad.
I just have to respect it. I mean, then again, he's only 19. I mean, at least he's, he's trying to figure out what his hormones are, And so I just respect that about, his journey. If he doesn't want to have a kid, then I'm not going to force him to have a kid.
Well, no, I wouldn't force anybody to have a child, but I think as a society, we can do things to incentivize outcomes that we want. I mean, that's the whole point of government, is to put together an environment that encourages, certain paths.
But at the same time, you can't discourage or disincentivize people to take the opposite view.
Not necessarily disincentivize, but I don't think it's like
how would it work? I mean, if you like, just for example, you get a tax break if you have kids, right? You get your taxes are less if you don't have kids, and people are, single folks, people who don't have kids are affected by that. Is that fair? I don't know. But that's
what is fair? I have a really hard time with defining fair. Fair to me is like this concept of equitable, relativity. What I think is fair and what you think is fair and what anybody else think is fair. It's like, how do you even, as a government has to have some kind of something. And while you want to protect the minority, whether it be, in whatever case, the minority, rural America is a minority in our country. Like there's racial minorities, there's all kinds of different minorities. Whatever minority you're trying to protect, that is good, but you also have to govern in a way to benefit the majority as best that you can, to try to make your. I don't think that's a bad thing to say, No. I mean, you want to protect the minority while understanding that your citizenry, you just want to do what's best for your citizenry. You want to create an environment that makes your citizenry thrive. And different states can do different things, different towns can do different things, but I just think as a culture, it's a good thing to have a a common. We're all on the same page, kind of a thing. That doesn't mean that we have to hurt a minority of whatever to help the majority. Doesn't mean we have to focus on the minority at the expense of the majority. So yada yada yada.
I see where you're coming from. That's fine.
Yeah. So let's see. What do I got here? Let's get on to page 149 in the book.
Page we have no idea in the electronic version.
Yeah,
mine's different than yours.
Yeah, every book's different. Let me go down here because I know where I'm going.
Where are you going?
Where am I going? I want to go to the paragraph that's just above the segment of first turnings and archetypes. It's on page 149 in my book. I'm getting there. Here we go. To understand how and why the American high came to be, you need to picture the generational history of those years. Consider each life cycle transition then occurring. The Hard Knocks Elder Lost generation, which now remember, the analogous generation in Gen X in this whole story is the Lost. So consider each life cycle transition that's occurring. The Hard Knocks Elder Lost generation, cordoning off the social perimeters to enable the mood to calm. The GIs deriving energy from midlife conformism. The silent becoming adaptable helpmates. And the boomers receiving new indulgences. Seen from a life cycle's perspective, the post-war mood was in many ways inevitable. There was absolutely no way that post-crisis America would feel the same way it had back in the 30s or the 20s. Whether the American high was a good or bad era is beside the point. What matters is that in the seasonal rhythms of history, it was a necessary era. It cleaned up after the crisis that came before and set the table for the awakening to follow. It lent America an infusion of optimism and constructive energy and a staleness that later had to be rooted out. In the years between 1946 and 1963, America succeeded in many areas, such as public cooperation, where we today feel we are failing. So too was the nation notoriously weak in many areas, such as personal fulfillment, where we today, of course, are talking from 1997, think ourselves doing well. That should come as no surprise. In the middle 1950s, at the peak of the high, America lay at the opposite end of the speculum from where we are now in 1997.
Right. Not now.
So, not now. So,
and then,
including the most recent era, Anglo-American history has had 6 first turning highs dating back to the 15th century. We have the Tudor Renaissance in the Reformation Speculum, Merry England in the New World Speculum from 1594 to 1621, the Augustan Age of Empire, Revolutionary Speculum from 1704 to 1727. These are the first turnings. The Era of Good Feelings, I remember learning about that in history class, 1794 to 1822, the Civil War Speculum. And this is one that I think that deserves a lot to look at. The Reconstruction and Gilded Age, 1865 to 1886, which was during the Great Power Speculum, which was the post-Civil War. And then, of course, the American High from 1946 to 1964 in the Millennial Speculum. All such eras mark the construction of a new social order. This is big. All are regarded in their own time and after as post-war. With the epic crisis settled and the promised land delivered, society accelerates with a newfound solidarity and direction. It is time to reconstruct and savor victory or recover from defeat. People want to gather, nest, plan, procreate, and build. The mood is dynamic. Each new exercise of social cooperation builds on the success of the last. Until near the end of the high, the trend toward greater order and cohesion has become something close to an instinctual drive. I mean, let's do it. But they're saying it's inevitable. Even if we can't see it, we can't figure out how we get there. It's hard to figure out what the 2030s will look like. They say here that it is inevitable. This is what's going to happen. We either gonna it's time to reconstruct and savor victory or recover from defeat. And what that looks like, we just have to find out. I'm just glad that it's come. I hope that it comes.
Me too.
Is there a possibility that it doesn't? Is it a possibility that the cycle breaks, or that, does new technology and what's happened in the globalism and all this stuff, does that affect this?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think the cycle will continue. I gotta hope that the cycle continues, but I'm very optimistic that it will, because I think that the people are really tired of the downer cycle. It's now been over 20 years of just nothing but just strife in this country. Yep. And it isn't just that no one but the Gen X, no one but the boomers have experienced the first turning. It's that three-fourths of the current generations haven't even experienced half of a second turning.
Yeah, of an awakening. Yeah. I was a little kid at the second half of the, I was a kid.
You were a little kid. I was in my, I was a child. I don't remember all that good stuff in the 70s. I remember it being and I don't remember the 80s being better.
I remember the 80s being fantastic from where I was. The 70s, I was born in 77, but I know the boomers were having a good time. It was the me generation, the me era.
Yeah.
They were having until the 90s. We got ignored. So we were, Anna has a question. So is this war or series of wars what leads us to the next turning? Yes. The fourth turning always ends with a massive war of some kind. In the last time it was World War II, before that it was the Civil War, before that it was the Revolutionary War, before that it was wars over in Europe. And that's what the war always brings to end. The fourth turning brings to end the crisis, brings some kind of a resolution to the crisis, whether it's good or bad. And that is what catapults into the first turning. The crisis comes to a close somehow. And it's always with a war. So, yes.
Whether or not this particular war is going to be a,
actual boots on the ground weapons war.
It could very well be, and I think it's more than likely to be some sort of philosophical conflict that's just keeps going. It's been happening. It's a philosophical conflict between the liberal and the conservative in this country, anyway.
Yeah, it could be maybe something with tech or with finances. I mean,
it could very well be something. Yeah, it could be. It could be something that we don't even see right now. Like, it could be something like, gee, we can't make any more chips.
Right.
That could happen if the price, if something catastrophic happened and they couldn't make any more something or other that we need, things would change big time.
What I mean? Hell, if something happened to the internet or communications or kids, nobody can function without their phone. They're up there under 40. So what happens if something happens to, with AI and jobs and all this stuff, tech, I don't know.
The internet going down worldwide would require a worldwide catastrophe. Basically, it's so redundant. It could go down in certain areas. Certain backbones could go down, but the internet itself is fairly robust, because remember, it's made up of all of the other,
right.
So, but it's not in the realm, but it's certainly is possible.
I mean, something connected to that, something connected to.
I mean, it's probably. God, I hope it's not another pandemic. That's all I can.
Yeah. Oh God.
The last one, I'm just not. After the last one, I'm not, convinced that any government could solve the problem right now.
No.
I don't think. I think we have enough smart people who could solve a pandemic if they're allowed to do what they're supposed to do. Do I think they're going to be allowed to do what they're supposed to do? No, I don't.
No. Well, I don't trust anybody in government or anybody that's expert anymore.
I trust people who study those things for a living.
Sometimes it just kind of depends. Everything is so corrupt that I've been a very black pilled in a lot of ways on a lot of stuff, just because everybody has an agenda. Everybody has a financial incentive to say something, to have some certain opinion or whatever when it comes to the people that are talking. So I don't know. I get very black pilled on this kind of stuff. That's where I have to remember, we're in a cycle. There's a first turning coming. It's like, don't black pill too hard. We can get out of this.
Go down that rabbit hole. Who do you even believe anything? And
that's the thing.
Then that's when you get into the level of paranoia, and
I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. I don't trust media. I don't trust, especially the corporate.
And yet you study media, and that's the oxymoron in the room there. It's like, you were a journalist. You were I mean, listen, I don't discount sports as being not a level of journalism. I do.
Well, I went into sports, but I studied. I did some news. But
you have a journalism degree. So
I worked in the corporate media.
You who have a journalism degree, who I would hope learned journalistic ethics and what you're supposed to do as a journalist, the same kind of stuff I learned in my high school journalism class, only exponentially increased, I would hope. In college, I did actually was a journalism major for all of a semester at SDSU, but I didn't take any journalism classes. English one, though. But I would, the fact that you're, that you don't believe the media, and that you understand the reporting structure, that does kind of say a lot.
I know what funds it. I know how decisions are made. I know.
Yeah, and also, if I got that deep into the pie, I probably would be the same way, because I definitely understand where you're coming from. News organizations are a for-profit business, and they have an agenda, 100%. Even listen, even like an NPR, they have an agenda. They have their only agenda is really, we need your money so we can keep going. That's their agenda. They don't really care. And that's the thing about NPR that I've always liked. It's like, we're just going to hit you up for money, but we're going to still give you as much unbiased as we can. And they do.
See, I think they're extremely left, extremely left wing. You look at the corporate news, or any kind of big news, 80, 90, 95% of the reporters, the people that work there, they're all contributors to the left part of the political spectrum, with their financials, with their candidates. That's the same in college and universities as well. And so it just feels like, and also when I was younger growing up, journalism used to be a very working man's thing, especially local journalism. But now it's very elitist. Everybody comes from Ivy League institutions. Everybody comes from very wealthy families. There's a lot, and this was the class divide as well, I think, within our country, is that there's just, we're all living in our own little bubbles. We're all living in our own bubbles of information, of experience, of everything. And so the biggest thing is, I know how things get funded, and I know how agendas get thrown down in a newsroom. And so, and it's gotten worse. It's been almost 25 years since I've been in a newsroom, but 20 years. But I know it's got exponentially worse. And so that's why I don't trust it. It's just, I know what funds it. I know that there's agendas, and everybody's going to have their own, media sources, and and yes, people are going to have their own viewpoints and opinions, but the thought of like having news or information given to you in an unbiased way is almost obsolete at this point. I don't, where would you even go? So, Sinclair, I worked for Sinclair. I worked for Sinclair. Sure did. That was my first job out of college. I was hired by Sinclair for the Kansas City WB out in WB 62, owned by Sinclair at the time. So, yeah. All right, let's keep going. Where am I at? The high is an equinox era, a transition toward shorter nights and longer days, in which both the demand and supply of social order are rising. It is the vernal quadrant of the Seculum, the season of hope and innocent joy. After a winter of war and death, spring is announced by Vachel Lindsay's nightingales, who spoke, I think, of perils past. They spoke, I think, of peace at last. Feeling a sentiment of relief, a society naturally reverts to simple pleasures and the planting of things that will grow. This becomes the season of what Thomas Nash calls the year's pleasant king, when nature blooms and maids dance in a ring. With new life filling the earth. Okay, I don't want to get into poetry right now.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Robert Browning says, all's right with the world. All is right with the world. During the Seculum's first turning, children are indulged, academies founded, soldiers knighted, kings crowned, empires proclaimed. Every high has embodied this mood within the context of its own post-crisis sensibility and technology. The first three highs all defined eras of political consolidation, economic prosperity, and in the world of culture, worldly optimism. For the new United States, the era of good feeling signified a similar dawn. Americans had just fought for and secured their democratic self-rule. Now they can engage in the pursuit of happiness by surveying lands, founding communities, building canals, crafting inventions, and applying science to raise and improve, harmonize mankind. After the Civil War, a more damaged society coalesced around the need for reconstruction. In the Gilded Age, Americans strengthened families and schools, glorified technology, and invested hugely in industrial infrastructure, thereby securing the continental nation whose unity had been preserved at such cost. Here is where I really think we can get a lot of, ideas about where we could be headed.
Agreed. I'm hoping that that's the turning that this next first turning emulates the most, because if you really look at it outside of the American high, which was so specific, because as somebody pointed out in the chat, Britain after World War II was certainly not on a high.
Right. Europe in general. Yeah.
Europe in general was not feeling too good about things.
Right. But they did rebuild. They were in a rebuilding stage.
They did. And they did get as the decade progressed to the 50s into the 60s, yes, Europe did bounce back. But
yeah.
Rather than the American emulating the American high, the Gilded Age would be much more appropriate, I think, because I do think that we are in a neo-civil war.
Yeah,
it's not going to be a shooting war. It's going to, but something will happen at some point to bring us closer together. Something will happen.
Yes.
Whether it's could be something as simple as a dramatic turn in the economy where, everything just starts getting cheaper. People start making more money. People start getting hired. The economy starts, doing better. And, everybody starts feeling great about ourselves because we're 250 years old. And we're hosting a World Cup. Who knows?
Right.
Stranger things happen. I've seen weirder shit happen. So,
but it's going to be a rebuilding time. It's going to be different because
it's going to bring the country back together.
Yeah.
And that's what hope I'm looking forward to.
Well, the other thing is we are way bigger now population wise than we have ever been in any of these other turnings. We have 350 million people, 380, who knows how many millions of people we have. And it's and I don't know how do you rebuild such a vast country,
well, it ain't like we ain't got the land.
Yeah,
we do. The land's out there. The land is out there. If we had a targeted structured thing, they could.
I'd like to rebuild our infrastructure. I'd like to rebuild our manufacturing, our manufacturing, our cities, just rebuild, just rebuild things. I mean, it would be nice. It would just be nice to, but that's where we're going to have to be. A damaged society coalesced around the need for reconstruction, and that's. Does that mean strengthening families and schools, glorifying technology, and investing hugely in industrial infrastructure? I mean, I think that, to me, that sounds good. That sounds like it could be, but I don't know.
Let's see. Current world U.S. population is 342 million.
342 million.
According to whatever.
That's a lot of people. A lot of people.
8.3 billion on the planet.
Yep.
Just crazy to think about, because I
know.
I think it was 5 when I was born.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've gotten but where most I think the numbers show that we're kind of at a peak of human population. Now with the replacement birth rates and whatever in especially in the Western countries, those populations are going to start to plummet unless people start making babies. Making babies. Let's see here.
Oh my God, in 1971 it was 3.76 billion people. So
wow.
The world population has doubled in my lifetime.
In your lifetime. Ain't that something?
That's crazy.
Wow. And they've moved around a lot, the globe, more than ever in the history of the world. So we've got populations moving all over the place.
That is phenomenal to think about. There are twice as many people on the planet.
That is insane.
Than there were when I was born.
Yeah.
More than twice, actually, because it said 376, and I was like,
a little over double.
7.2, so a lot more than that's like 1.2. 1.1.
Yeah.
So I can do math in my head.
You can do math. Yay.
Every one person who was alive in the day I was born, there's 2.12 people now.
Yep. Let's
see. Now I need to take another hint. You keep going. I'm depressed.
Don't be depressed. Through a more distant lens, highs provide relatively few memories of noble deeds or stirring crusades or zany celebrities. Instead, they bring to mind the great barbecues of history. They encompass enduring vignettes of stable community and family life, whether the stately rectangles of Williamsburg, neat log cabins of Kentucky, well-ordered home sweet homes of Shaker Heights, or the ticky-tacky suburbs of Levittown. People remake the outer world around optimistic new notions of unity and progress. Yet the flip side of the optimism is the suppression of bad news. Beneath the outward contentment, people ignore what are later deemed to be flagrant injustices. Highs are good times for those who inhabit and accept the majoritarian culture. They are merely secure times at best for those who do not. That kind of hits on what we were talking about earlier about majorities and minorities and how do you what highs are the good times for some, but not for everybody. And it's never going to be, you're never going to have universal, happiness for everyone. That's just impossible. And and that's and that's kind of the government's job, I think, is to try to make the environment to be great for as many people as possible. It's never going to be 100%, but you got to try to get to the highest percentage that you can. All right. Highs produce this mood because of the new life cycle phase each archetype is entering. Nomads into elderhood. Yay, Gen X. Heroes or millennials into midlife. Artists, Gen Z, into young adulthood. And prophets, Gen Alpha, into childhood. Consider the 4 phases and archetypes in turn. As exhausted nomads replace prophets in elderhood, they slow the pace of social change, shunning the old crusades in favor of simplicity and survivalism. That sounds like Gen X to me.
Yeah, it sounds like exactly what we're doing. We're moving towards now. We're saying, saying, let's come on, let's make
this is what they're saying happened and what's going to happen.
Together, let's come together. Let's survive.
Right.
This is what we've always done. We've always been like, well, we're the survivors, so kind of listen to us.
And there is precedent for this. There is precedent for this. As much as I like to think Gen X is special, we actually have some analogous generations that have come before us. But here's what they're saying is going to happen with our generation. Tired of big causes and ideologies, elder nomads calm society. We accept the outcome of the crisis and build a functioning civic order out of its glory or its ashes. Believers in functional social rituals, they become old-fashioned elders who place a high priority on protecting children and safeguarding the society's long-term future. They are less impressed than their juniors by swift progress or national triumph and more fearful of where institutional hubris may lead. Still stigmatized, they strike other generations as burned out, even reactionary. In old age, the nomad's reputation for shrewdness never wins them much public reward. They claim little for themselves at a time when the public mood is focused less on rewarding the old than investing in the young.
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we become grandparents.
Yeah.
As a generation, now we are one generation removed from our children. We've done our actual child rearing. Mm-hmm. Now we will have more of a reason to keep the legacy for our future. We'll care more about what we leave because we have someone to leave it to.
Right.
And I think that's when every generation enters elderhood. That's what they tend to gravitate towards.
Yeah. And here's some receipts for what I think our generation is going to kind of do through history. The twilight years, the elder years of previous generations that were like the Gen X generations of their time. Queen Elizabeth I and George Washington. Though they were separated by 2 secula, they exemplify the elder nomad style. Still the canny and picaresque warrior, each had become risk-averse, worn from care, protective of a hard-won peace, graciously old regime in manner, not too proud to show occasional vanity or cupidity, and resistant yet kind to pushier and more confident juniors. During the Augustan age, the elder Cavalier generation stood accused of a sad degeneracy. Indeed, their public treatment was the worst of the colonial era. After the American Revolution, Washington's Liberty peers had what historian David Hackett Fitcher describes as the unhappy fate, to be young in an era when age was respected and old in a time when youth took the palm. In their last years, they became self-effacing pessimists who, like John Adams, knew for certain that mausoleums, statues, and monuments will never be erected to me.
The Revolutionary War heroes did not fare very well in politics.
No. No.
It's amazing. You watch what happens, and like as soon as the war was over, the Revolutionary War heroes, besides Washington, were done for.
Yeah.
You know, it was all about the new blood and the Jeffersonian.
Yep. If you go through and look at the media of the time of during George Washington's presidency, they absolutely eviscerated him. They were not fans.
He had a very difficult presidency. People don't understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is why he bounced out after 2 terms, and he was.
Oh yeah.
You know.
He was dead, like, what, 2, 3, 4 years later, something like that.
Yeah.
History That Doesn't Suck. It's a podcast. You should check it out.
History That Doesn't Suck. All right.
It starts off with the episode 1 is like pre-Revolutionary War, and they spend an hour on every topic, and it's so good.
Oh,
so good.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. We're about an hour and 15 in. What I want to do for the rest of our time here is I want to kind of dive into the section about the lost entering elderhood, because that is, to me, that's what it's kind of like a not really an instruction manual, but at least at least kind of an idea of what our analogous generations beforehand have kind of gone through and experienced. With this one, will be the lost from the 1940s. They were the nomad generation entering elderhood after World War II.
Yeah, and they weren't the GI generation that just won the war. You know?
Right.
They were
not. They were the elders. They were the generals of the war. If they weren't the soldier, they weren't the GIs.
They were on their way out.
They were on their way out. So let's go down for the actual book that I have. It's on the bottom of page 153 on the digital copy. Let's see. We'll get there. So close. Because as much as I love the other generations, you got to read about them. They're great. But I want to talk about the one that is like Gen X.
Well, this is the Gen X book club, so
it is, exactly. It kind of makes sense.
Screw the other generations, especially the boomers. No, we love the boomers.
Did I go way too far past it? Son of a nutcracker.
That's
I'll get there. I hate that these books are not
uniform.
Yeah, they're just so hard to.
You're looking for the one that says "Lost Entering Elderhood, Old Fogies"?
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
Bottom my electronic page, but I think I'm on a different version than you are, and I have no idea what page number it is.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, it says page.
Oh, here we go. I think I'm close. Here we go. On this version from the Internet Archive, it's top of page 196. In my book, it's the bottom of page 153.
And in the version, it's page 213.
Jeez.
Just all be crazy now. Yeah, Control F. You're looking for Lost Entering Elderhood.
No.
Old Fogies.
Yep. So that's the section that we're going to talk about, and then we'll watch a short video and be done with it. Be done for the night.
Be done till Friday when we celebrate and party like it's 1999.
That's right. That's when I turned. I was 21 in 1999.
179 pounds.
What?
I was trying to figure out what 1999 and what. Never mind. I was trying to figure out what 2000 minus 1999 was.
Ah, gotcha. It's okay. Okay, let's get into it here.
There.
To err is Truman, scoffed editorialists in 1945 when this barely known man from Independence replaced FDR. A year later, when John L. Lewis dared him to stop a steelworkers strike, the president did just that. And the grandiloquent old Union crusader backed down. John L. had to fold up, Truman afterwards recounted. He couldn't take the gaff. 6 years later, Truman showed similar guts in firing Douglas MacArthur, even while younger congressmen were likening the general's preaching to the words of God himself. During the American High, the Lost Generation, or the Gen X types of their day, ushered out the older authoritarians who had led their society through what MacArthur called the crucible of war. The passing of the last missionaries, MacArthur, along with Margaret Sanger, Frank Lloyd Wright, Albert Einstein, Helen Keller, W.E.B. Du Bois, George Marshall, and Bernard Baruch, came with the realization that their Trumanesque inheritors lacked the spiritual essence, indeed the wisdom of a generation that, as a young admirer said of Nobel laureate John Mott, had something of the mountains and sea in it, very simple and a bit sublime. The missionaries had come of age around the turn of the century, an era whose thunder American novelist Winston Churchill attributed to the springing of a generation of ideals from a generation of commerce. Their social causes, populism, muckraking, women's suffrage, fundamentalism, labor anarchism, prohibition, projected what Jane Addams called a higher consciousness. Frederick Howe wrote that the most characteristic influence of my generation was an evangelistic psychology that seeks a moralistic explanation of social problems and a religious solution to most of them.
Yeah.
George Santayana, I can't say that. Santayana described his generation as prophets who apply morals to public affairs. As World War II drew to a close, we're talking about the missionary generation, by the way, the ones that came before, basically the boomers of their time.
Yeah.
Dominated the American image of old age, dressed in dark colors, dogmatic, and religious, preachy, and principled. This was not an act the lost were inclined to follow. Instead, America's high era elders became hard-scrabble pragmatists, products of a lifetime of criticism. This began with the bad boy fixation of progressive era magazines. On the eve of World War I, the Atlantic Monthly accused the rising generation of mental rickets and curvature of the soul. During the war, the alleged stupidity of American youth became a raging issue when IQ tests indicated that half of all draftees had a mental age of under 12. Afterwards, their morals came under constant attack from aging missionaries. In the dark days of the Depression, when FDR blasted a generation of self-seekers for wrecking the temple of our civilization, clearly he meant the middle-aged lost, who throughout the 1930s were attacked as copperheads, naysayers, irresponsibles, and as war approached, isolationists. In old age, they were again castigated, this time as reactionary, corrupt, and anti-progress. The lost aging literary elite generally accepted the lifelong verdict. The truth is, wrote Henry Miller, under the skin, we are all cannibals, assassins, traitors, liars, hypocrites, poltroons. So, sorry about that.
No, that's right.
One more time. Ooh. I start talking too much and I get saliva all stuck in my throat because I have these stupid dumb fake teeth. You made me cough so bad. So the moral of the story is don't talk so much. For me. Okay. So they're saying here in the book that the missionary generation that came before the lost, the lost, they always called them names. They always looked down upon them. They were always the naysayers, irresponsibles, and they were not happy with how the lost generation came in and did things. They were they were different. They were almost the complete opposite. They came in as pragmatists and, like, this is what has to be done. It's not all about sunshine and rainbows. Like, we've got shit to deal with. We're going to deal with it. And it might not be popular. We'll have to make some tough decisions, but it is what it is.
I see our generation definitely taking that role on the first term.
Yeah. Yes.
I see that as our, when the shit has hit the fan and we're rebuilding, they're gonna look towards us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're gonna say, okay, now's your guys' time to shine, and we're gonna go, yep, this is how you do it.
Yep.
You know, this is how you build a better company. This is how you build a better infrastructure. This is how you build maglev trains or whatever, and build green spaces and recreate third spaces that people can go to.
I miss third spaces.
I mean, you know, a lot of that though, listen, there's third spaces out there. A lot of it is finding the one that makes you happy. They're there. They exist. You just got to find your own.
Yep.
But bringing them back, you know, bringing back more, you know, more than just a coffee shop. That's, because I can think of a couple of great third spaces, but they're all coffee shops, you know. So I'm just saying, we are going to be the ones who, just like our lost brethren, you know, they had a rough time of it, and they weren't the GI generation, but they were the lost generation. My great grandmother was lost generation. She was 1897 born. So, and so, you know, I watched her, you know, I know what she did after the war. I mean, she, you know, just lived the rest of her life is on her own terms.
Yep.
You know,
with a rowdy, I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nope. Keep up.
Keep going. With a rowdy childhood and careful old age as bookends, the lost generation life cycle was divided roughly in thirds by 2 world wars. In the meantime, in between time, ain't we got fun? I had a rotten start, lamented Babe Ruth, whose generation grew up when children were let loose to do anything they or others wanted, like 7-year-old George Burns, who sang for pennies in saloons. The child afterthoughts of an era of social protest, spiritual ferment, massive immigration, and rampant drug abuse, the Lost came of age popularizing the slogan, "It's up to you." World War I embittered them as, in Fitzgerald's words, a new generation dedicated more than the last to the fear of poverty and the worship of success. Grown up to find all gods dead, all wars fought, all faith in man shaken. During the 1920s, they worked hard and partied hard, sensing, like Edna St. Vincent Millay, that their candle will not last the night. It's like they could be talking about Gen X, I feel like. I mean, you know, it's amazing how, granted, we didn't have 2 world wars, but...
No, we had Vietnam and we had Afghanistan.
Yeah.
The Middle East, I mean, they're not world wars, but they count. They should count.
Yeah, no, we have gone to war. Our generation has went to war in Kuwait in the early 90s, and then post 9/11 in Afghanistan. So we have had wars in our generation. That were, you know, lost a lot of people, a lot of blood and treasure. So yeah, I mean, and what really stands out for me is just the similarities, to be honest. You know, I mean, even though the you know, we have different tech, we have different, you know, things are different, yes, now, but but when it comes down to it, the bare bones of it all, the similarities are just astounding. And you know, it doesn't make for Gen X to have the best of elderhoods, but it's not, I think it's better than what we've been through in midlife.
I think more importantly, it just gives us a roadmap of what to expect and how to respond.
That's a really great point. I like that. That's a really great way to put it. Well done, sir.
Totally ad-lib.
Yeah, very nice. Well done. The Great Depression brought them a midlife hangover and a change of attitude. According to Malcolm Cowley, this was a time of doubt and even defeat for his peers. But as life went on, they lent the 1930s much of that decade's gritty but solid reputation. With FDR winning term after term, the Republican-leaning Lost did not attain a majority of congressional seats and governorships until 1941. Later in their life cycle than any other generation in U.S. history. When World War II hit, the Lost shed their isolationism and provided the war-winning generals whose daring, patent, warmth, Bradley, and persistence, Eisenhower, energized younger troops. At home, they managed the world's most efficient war machine. With little philosophizing, their first president dropped 2 atom bombs and then arranged a peace that was less vengeful and more secure than the one he recalled from his old soldier days. Unprotected by families as children, unrewarded by governments as adults, and criticized by other generations all their lives, the Lost grew old with a low collective self-image. Identical psychological tests administered over 2 decades showed high-era Lost elders scoring far below Awakening-era GI seniors in measures of self-esteem. Socially and politically reticent, the old Lost reflected a lifetime's knowledge about how to deal with whatever hard knocks life dealt out. Distrustful of government, they played the sap for richer and better educated young people and seldom lobbied on their own behalf. Their low self-image also enabled them to do the dirty work that others could not or would not do. The buck stopped with them. I just found this whole section to be just wow. As elders, the generation that had electrified America before the crisis calmed America afterward. Those wild young people who made the 1920s roar either burned out entirely or matured into old-fashioned cautionaries, the likes of Virgil Thompson or Norman Rockwell 30 years later. By the protective cordon of their stewardship, they made possible the modernizing optimism of their juniors. But it was never an optimism they shared. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. We're going to make the world better for you, the country better for you, but we're not going to get to enjoy it, but here you go. We're going to do the hard shit that has to be done. You're welcome. I love this. Theirs was a toughness born of desperation. Living is a struggle, wrote Thornton Wilder. Every good and excellent thing in the world stands moment by moment on the razor edge of danger and must be fought for, whether it's a field, a home, or a country. If corners had to be cut to protect America in an amoral world, the Lost cut them. The same generation that had earlier produced Dashiell Hammett and Raymond Chandler and Humphrey Bogart was now led by the likes of J. Edgar Hoover and the Dulles brothers, their files thick with plots and secrets they shielded from the eyes of the young. In the Lost view, communism was less an economic paradigm than a rival bully to be thwarted mano a mano with brinksmanship if necessary. To their eyes, America could not afford ideological recriminations. It was the Lost, Joseph Welch, and eventually Eisenhower who quashed McCarthy and dampened the GI's anti-communist fervor. Having paid many a price for other generations' crusades, the Lost led with a warm realism. Their latent life leaders, Stevenson, Dirksen, Urban, were famous for flowery yet self-effacing oratory. I'll get there. And for positive I like Ike campaigning. The Lost like politics to be humdrum. The 1952 and 1956 elections marked the only time in U.S. history that the same 2 presidential candidates ran against each other in consecutive elections with identical results. They disliked deficit financing and built a stable economic foundation beneath a prosperity for which GI politicians would later claim credit. They burdened themselves with unprecedented peacetime tax rates to pay for global reconstruction and domestic infrastructure, whose benefits they knew they would not live long enough to enjoy themselves. Unlike the missionaries, Lost leaders had a few visions grander than Eisenhower's desire to project a respectable image of American life before the world. They viewed religion mainly as a device for ritual comfort and public order. As Eisenhower once said, our government makes no sense unless it's founded in a deeply felt religious faith, and I don't care what it is. Ike showed similar discomfort with new technologies. He opposed the moon rocket, warned against the GI fashion military-industrial complex, and refused to fly in a jet airplane until 1959. Historian William O'Neill described the old general as prudent, suspicious of change, unlike those such as John Kennedy, who believed there were no limits to what America could achieve. Adlai Stevenson shared Ike's innate cultural conservatism. He unapologetically wore old shoes, and his close advisors pointedly denied that they ever watched TV. accepting without pretense that they were old, the lost unselfishly anchored an era of sharply improving fortunes for the young. How does that feel, guys?
Yeah, describe. I think that's us. Yeah.
Yep.
That's us.
Yep. It's us. We got to do the hard things, but you know, hopefully we'll have a little bit of joy in our elderhood. I don't know.
Well, we better have. I mean, we need the presidency, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm ready for a Gen X president.
Yeah,
that'll be a big tell of how this is going to go. Whichever Gen X president gets in there.
That will be fun. Gen X president. Gen X president.
All right,
we have some videos to watch.
Yes, I got one because I gotta wrap this up here soon. One I wanted to show you. This is for you, Grindelson. Give me just a second.
Okay. Do it up. I'm gonna go get some more Neo.
All right. I'll wait for you. Totally feels like middle child syndrome. We are definitely the sandwich generation.
Yep. Had to fill up my water. Got my water glass.
I'll allow it.
Got my Grogu glass still.
Nice. All right. You've probably seen this before. You might have seen it, you might not. This is called Welcome to Southern California. It's from 1953.
Oh, I think I have seen this. I'm pretty sure I've seen this. I like to watch these things.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
I love to watch these things.
Me too. So let's look at what Southern California looked like in 1953. During the American High.
There is probably no single area holding so much of charm and beauty and the good things of life as Southern California. From the beautifully designed Spanish-type station at Los Angeles, in the heart of the City of the Angels, the thrill of Southern California is in the air. In the years since the turn of the century, Los Angeles has grown from a sleepy pueblo to a vast, seething metropolitan city. Fine buildings, huge stores, busy citizens. A city which has grown faster than any other in America in the past decade, and which sees a constant day-to-day influx of people from every part of the world. Reminiscent of the early, more languid days when Los Angeles dozed beneath a desert sun, the Los Angeles Mission.
He's calling it Los Angeles.
I hate that. It was a thing back in the 40s and 50s.
Really?
Yeah. If you go, what's Angelica Houston's character in the movie The Grifter says it Los Angeles, and she's from the East Coast. It's an East Coast thing. I hate it so much.
I've never heard it.
I have. It makes my ears cringe every time I hear it. By the way, a lot of the stuff that you're seeing is actually still here.
That's awesome.
Surprisingly, that's City Hall right there. It's still there. It's now surrounded by a lot bigger buildings.
Right.
And then I noticed the Union Station. It does pretty much still look like that. I think it's been painted a few times and it's bigger.
Yeah.
It does a lot. We've tried to keep some of the old architecture. It's not all here anymore, obviously.
Right.
And I think this is honestly, I thought it said 1945 or 1946.
It was 1955.
Oh, okay, 55. That makes sense.
Yep, 1955. So this was 10 years post World War II.
My mom would have been 4 years old, and my mom's parents, my grandparents, would have moved to West LA in 1952.
Wow. So
she would have been 4 years old during this, and I'm sure she's seen
it. Yep, I love stuff like this.
Yeah,
I could watch stuff like this for hours.
I really do love these old videos or these old movies of come to California, it's all sunny. And I love it.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
And they were
proud monument.
Okay. I'm sorry, I can turn this down a little bit. We can talk over it.
To the development of Los Angeles is its splendid City Hall, towering over its domain in classic lines of beauty.
There you go.
The Miracle Mile of Wilshire Boulevard is truly just that.
Is now the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences.
Oh, it is? Okay.
It is.
Look at the cars.
Mm-hmm. That's Miracle Mile on Wilshire.
Miracle Mile. Brown Derby's not there anymore, right?
It's still there, but it's moved back, and it doesn't look like the Brown Derby anymore. That's the Ambassador Hotel is now a school. That's where Kennedy.
That's where Kennedy was shot. Yeah.
Kennedy was killed. Yeah.
Oh, so it is. So it is. The building is still there. It's just
parts of it are still there, but they raised most of it.
Gotcha.
And it's a very
top drawer tennis
prison.
It's what?
It looks like a prison.
Well, that's not good.
And the crowds that gather to watch the Net Stars love every minute of it.
Out.
Los Angeles is well equipped to see stars of every kind. Here, for example, at the Griffith Park Observatory,
I know that's still there.
Way of equipment for astronomical
My kid just went up there like last
month. Even for deep
astronomy. This is
just went up there for what?
My kid went up there last month, and because my sister-in-law was in town from Canada, and brought me home this cool Griffith Observatory spinny thingy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. What do you call that? Gyroscope.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it up there.
Churches and chapels of rare peace and beauty. Here is true tranquility, a perfect haven of unchanging calm.
Oh God, no. Not that part.
One of the great sources of civic pride in lovely Pasadena is the world-famous Huntington Library.
Oh, yes.
Here is gathered one of the richest stores of literary and art treasures to be found in America or the world.
Is it still there?
Oh, yeah. My ex-girlfriend had a pass the whole time I was dating her, and we would go up there like once every month or two. And
oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Oh, cool.
It's so big. It's just got gardens galore. It's got a Japanese garden. It's got a Chinese garden. It's got an Australian garden. It's got world-class museum quality art places, and then also the library is amazing. The library itself, there's an original copy of the Constitution there, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And then Blue Boy is there by Gainsborough. So yeah, it's
all this stuff. Is it being preserved and well kept, or it is?
No.
Okay.
No. It's amazing. Oh, the Corpse Flower is there too. And 2 years in a row, I got to go out there and see the dang thing actually bloomed. And
neat!
And I smelled it, but I didn't get the big whiff, But
yeah.
It's that thing is amazing. If you ever get I don't know if you know what it is. You know what a corpse flower is?
I've heard of it. I don't know like all the lore and history about it or whatever, but I know
real quickly. A corpse flower is this huge, beautiful flower that only grows in like certain climates in South America, and it only blooms like once every 7 years for like a day. And when it blooms, it's huge and it's just pretty and stinks like a dead person.
I did not know that.
That is how it attracts flies to come and pollinate it.
Oh wow.
And there's it was almost extinct, but like somebody decided to like get them all over the world into botanical gardens. So now there's a bunch of them all over places. There's one in Washington, and Indiana has one. Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that.
And like each one only blooms every 7 years, but like
right.
A lot of like Huntington has more than one. They've got like, I think they may have enough that there's a bloom almost every year, or there's one almost every other year.
Oh, cool!
It's pretty cool.
That is cool. That is neat.
And the dignity and beauty of
they live stream it when it's gonna bloom.
Oh. Well, that makes sense.
That's like the corpse flower live stream and the bald eagles live streams are the two huge live streams out here in California.
That's great. I love it.
I love the bald eagle.
The buildings are in complete keeping with the rare works of art to be found within. Of course, no look at Southern California would be complete without a round of Hollywood.
Hollywood.
This is Hollywood Boulevard and the world-renowned Grauman's Chinese Theater.
Been there.
In the forecourt of this celebrated cinema house are the footprints of the outstanding stars of the screen.
You saw Star Wars there?
Yeah, in 1977.
Oh, that's incredible.
Here, the idols of millions have left mementos of their undying fame.
Gary Cooper.
Early Temple.
He was still alive.
Yeah.
He was probably still
dead. Television, too, are focal points of Hollywood life. And the great broadcasting systems are important additions to the entertainment business, which contributes to the lifeblood of this community. At Sunset and Vine stands the western headquarters of the National Broadcasting Company, source of many favorite programs.
Now, I went to NBC in the mid 90s in Burbank. Is it the same area or is this not?
No. That's
what I figured.
That is now its own studios, independent studios. They shoot a whole bunch of sitcoms and stuff there. I've been there. I went to a taping of Russell Brand's talk show there.
Oh, nice. Cool. I went to see we did all of the tours and everything. We actually saw an episode of The Tonight Show.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, so that was the one thing that I did get to see. And all
Jay?
that. Yeah, with Jay Leno. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it was 95.
Oh,
he had just taken over. Like, it wasn't, he was only like maybe a couple of years into his tenure. So,
I was amazed at how small that studio really is.
Yeah. And the outside in the waiting area was part of the area where they shot Days of Our Lives. It was part of Salem. So all the line where you go in to get into the Tonight Show was in a little outdoor area that was set for Days of Our Lives. I was big in the days at the time, so I was excited about that. And Friends had just come out. It was like the first season of Friends, and so like all the merch everywhere was Friends. There's
a topic for a Friday night live stream.
Yes,
Friends.
Definitely.
I have been, no doubt, no lie. I've been on every studio lot at one point or another for some reason or another.
If I had lived in Southern California, that's where I would have been. I would have made a point to get to all of it, see it all multiple times.
Disney's the best. I got to go. I actually delivered food to their archives once, and that was the best. But then I also actually delivered to a stage on the studio once.
Nice. The only studio we went and toured was Universal. We did the back lot at Universal.
Yeah.
And all of that, but yeah.
Last time I was at Universal, they still had the Good Place stage up. Which was awesome.
Really? Yeah. That's been a minute.
Yeah. Well, also Universal, they had the. Do you remember the show Superstore? They had the facade of Superstore was right off of. What is that street? You get off of it on Coing. Trying to remember the name of the street. I'll think of it.
Yeah, Barham. I can't help you there.
Barham Way. You get off of Barham Way and you go down towards Warner Brothers, and on the left-hand side is Universal. And for the longest time, the facade for the Superstore was right there, and you could see it. And it looks like a real store, and it has even had You didn't even have shopping carts and stuff in front. I want to go in there. But
that's so funny. That show was set in South St. Louis, in Fenton, which is where I lived at the time that the show was on the air.
And never one season.
It was so that was what my biggest complaint about it was. It was so obviously not St. Louis. It was so obviously had nothing to do with the culture or dynamics here at all. I was like, why did you choose St. Louis as your location? Because that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so that's what I remember most about Superstore. I had tickets to The Price is Right once, and I decided not to go, and I regret that.
It's not. They taped it at what they called CBS and CBS Studio City, which is actually close to me. They actually are closing it to make it bigger.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and now they moved out to the CBS out in Burbank.
Gotcha.
Not really Burbank. There is a CBS in Studio City. It's off of Ventura Boulevard and Laurel Canyon.
Laurel Canyon.
Oh, yeah.
Let's keep going here.
Outlet for thousands of hours of radio pleasure and television spectacle.
Oh, boy.
This great network, along with NBC, ABC, and Mutual, draws thousands of enthusiastic radio and TV fans who come to see the stars and programs.
Well, this was 1955, so this was the early days of television.
Well, he didn't mention Dumont, so it can't be that early.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, it's people, the majority of Americans, let's see, what percentage of Americans had a television in 1955? What percentage?
50 to 60. 50
yeah.
to 60.
What percent of Americans had TVs in the 1950s? In 1950, only about 9% of American households owned a television, but by the end of the decade, that number skyrocketed to nearly 90%. So it went from 9% to 90%. So this was right when all that was just booming, when it was taken off.
So what was it in 1955? Probably halfway there.
Probably halfway there would be my guess. Yeah, because I mean, this was still in the days where everything that was done on television was live. They couldn't videotape things like, it was.
Doesn't he go to 1954 and Back to the Future?
He goes to 1955.
Okay, it goes. I can't remember, but yeah, okay. So he goes to 55, and they're watching TV.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's new, and they even make a comment about how when Marty says, "Yeah, we have 2 or 3 televisions," and like nobody has that many televisions in their house.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I saw this one already. What do you mean? This is on live.
Yeah. What's a rerun? Yeah.
What's a rerun?
Baseball occupies a prominent spot in the entertainment sports picture of Southern California.
Pre-Dodger Stadium.
Both Hollywood and Los Angeles.
I was getting ready to ask, is this pre-Dodger Stadium? Because I didn't think that looked like Dodger Stadium.
That'd be Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Field?
We had a Wrigley Field, too.
I did not know that.
To draw an ample quota of loyal rooters. Mecca for lovers of music and spectacles.
Say that again.
That was probably the Pacific League Angels.
I
couldn't tell. But
yeah, when did the Dodgers move to Los Angeles?
1959.
1959. Okay, so that was before.
60, I think.
Yeah.
The Angels were 60. Came in 61.
So they didn't have any major league teams in 1955. Wow.
I don't think so. When did
let
me double check.
I know it was in the 50s that the Dodgers moved, but I didn't know what point.
I want to say. Here we go. Come on. They moved in 1957.
57. Okay, so this is right before the Dodgers.
Yeah, so this would be before the Dodgers. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the Pacific Coast League Angels.
Wow.
Wrigley Field. Yeah, we had a Wrigley Field here too.
How crazy.
Yeah, well, Wrigley actually owned a lot of Catalina. He owned like half of Catalina. Yeah, there was a Wrigleyville out on Catalina too, I think.
Huh.
He owns something out on Catalina that's like named after him.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know more about my city than I let on.
Outstanding orchestras and soloists of the world perform. With a capacity
Hollywood
for some
Bowl.
12,000,
In there.
this great bowl presents
seen it.
programs of every
Probably
type
3
for
shells
every
ago.
taste.
Huh?
That's probably 3 shells ago.
Yeah.
They've changed the shell since then.
3 shells ago. That's funny.
Yeah.
Symbolism of a
Yeah,
holy
no,
day.
the thing that's the big arch thing, they've changed that 3 times.
I
At
did
least.
not know that.
Yeah.
Picture industry. This vast empire is also a potent factor in the economic life of Southern California. Its studios employ thousands of workers,
That's
electricians, carpenters, painters, seamstresses, artists, artisans of every conceivable kind.
My ex-wife was a
The
seamstress.
motion picture business is also high on the list of Southern California customers, buying each year large quantities of materials and services.
Oh, good old
It may
Columbia.
be safely said that every line of business in the area benefits directly or indirectly from.
I think that's interesting for the time. The WB sign, home of Warner Brothers Pictures, combining good citizenship with good picture making.
I mean, the studios took their, especially after the Hays Code, they did not want to have any censorship. They didn't want to have any interference,
Right.
and that's why, movies up until the late 60s were also homogenous. They just didn't want to rock the boat, and
there was that studio system. Yeah, that is
studio system, and that studio system kept this city going. It really did. There's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it built the city.
At that time, it was probably about 40 to 50% of the industry in LA.
I don't doubt it.
California is an agriculture state. That's where we make most of our money.
Sure.
Always has been. But in terms of LA, the question in the chat was what percentage of the economy is the movie industry.
Mm-hmm.
At this time in the 50s, it was probably 40 to 50%. Now it's less than 10.
That just blows my mind that wasn't preserved more, and the state didn't make policy to like cultivate that and like just, and just really make it like, this is a place where you're going to make movies and TV shows and we're going to incentivize that to the max, and
it's difficult because it's just, for a long time, it was just a cash cow that didn't need any oversight. And there wasn't other places who were trying to lure away production. That didn't start happening until the 80s when Canada started to really, when you started to see a lot of shows moving to Canada and other places.
Mm-hmm.
Even still now, we are still a hub, but it is getting worse and worse. But the state had the state has always had other things to worry about other than the movie industry.
I know. From
the state's point of view, it's like, well, we're happy to have you, but we don't need you. And
that's sad.
That's the problem. We don't need you. But the truth of the matter is that the industry is so bloated, it needed something to come in and kick it in the ass because productions were just getting out of hand in terms of cost.
Well, yeah.
There had to be some give. And there also, and listen, I think having productions in more places gives us a wider variety of productions. And I'm all for globalization of production. I'm all for it. I think everyone should be able to make content to their liking.
I don't disagree with that, but I think I just think it's sad that the state didn't value what the industry itself, and it wasn't just the movies; it was the people working on the movies and the TV shows, all of that infrastructure and all of, it's just that wasn't to me.
That industry has never really been forward looking.
Yeah.
In terms of technology, sure, they're always looking for the latest, greatest thing to put up on the screen, but they haven't really cared about the future of their industry in a long time, and that's what you're now. That's why you're seeing all the consolidation.
Right.
This time in 55, there was 9 studios, something like that, 7 or 8, and now there's 4.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for competition from other places and different places making different things. But when you had such an amazing asset that was Hollywood in that industry, and how many people it employed, how many people it inspired to move there, how many people it, made wealthy, how many people, what it did for the city itself and the different places and things, and it just seemed like it just wasn't valued like it should have been by the state.
And then listen, there's a big dark side to Hollywood too. And
of course, absolutely.
Points out, read Hollywood Babylon. There's a lot of people who think, that man, I don't think they're necessarily wrong, that Hollywood needed to be torn down and needed to
right. In some ways, yes.
In a lot of ways, but this is not the right way to do it. Who knows? But
right.
I agree with you. It's sad that you don't really have, but that's the nature of California. That is the nature of the U.S. society. We don't venerate our past the way that other cultures, other older societies do. And that has been something we're very short-sighted as a people. As Americans, we are short-sighted. We don't remember our past. And therefore, a lot of times we are doomed to repeat it because we're repeating the cycles without the knowledge of what's to come, even though if we looked back like we're doing,
right. It's there.
It's like, hey, this is coming. We see it. You and I, we see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay, so we're going to be the elderhoods. We're going to be the ones who are going to say, okay, let's slow down. Let's regroup. Let's build up. Let's make some more infrastructure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Let's watch a little bit more of this, and then I got to call tonight here.
Please, yeah, let's get to it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Offense. Travel the Santa Fe south from Los Angeles to a wondrous, picturesque portion of Southern California where industry vies with nature, recreation, and good living.
Oh, no, that is Melon.
Laguna Beach, resort town 60 miles south of Los Angeles. In addition to recreational facilities, Laguna is important in various crafts such as pottery. Artisans produce ware of myriad types and enduring beauty.
There is an annual Laguna Beach.
The track at Del Mar.
There's a what?
There's an annual Laguna Beach Arts Festival that's been going on for like 60 years. And they do live recreations of famous paintings and artworks in person on stage to music.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
The Pageant of the Masters is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. My son's godmother goes every year, and it's coming up. And so I just saw the ad for it. I'm like, oh, Laguna Beach. They were doing that back then. We're talking about artists. Yep. Laguna Beach is a humongo artist area. It's so gorgeous down there.
Oh.
It's also
as somebody that was 25 years old in the early 2000s, Laguna Beach to me was a reality TV show on MTV.
Well, okay then. I don't know that. Where the turf meets the surf.
Yep. That's what. Yep. That was. It was after the OC came out on Fox. They started Laguna Beach on MTV, which is a reality show based in Laguna Beach.
Where thoroughbreds vie for rich purses in brilliant track performance. A thrill a minute guaranteed. Then there's La Jolla, sometimes better known as La Jolla to the novice visitor.
No one calls it La Jolla, you moron.
Well, maybe back then there was some confusion.
You keep saying Los Angeles too, so I'm about ready to murder him.
Los Angeles and La Jolla.
Now we call it the Golden Triangle. There's a Golden Triangle in La Jolla.
Ah, I see.
Has been attracting those who would come to enjoy the warmth and quiet of comfortable Southern California.
Yeah,
she has lost none of the charming atmosphere which is hers alone.
I think that was
San Diego, a proud and busy city which has enjoyed phenomenal...
Which I believe is German for a whale's vagina, if I'm correct.
Just east of Pasadena. Yeah, San Diego, east of Pasadena.
Nobody really knows what San Diego means. I think it means San Diego. No. I'm sorry. I'm an Anchorman person. I can quote Anchorman anytime, anywhere.
No, Anchorman's great. The second one.
I only saw the second one once, but the first one is.
Yeah, I lived in San Diego for 17 years.
It is bustling with business,
very accurate,
and holds a wealth of charm for the resident and visitor alike. Among its many attractions, San Diego boasts one of the greatest zoos in the country.
Yeah, that is
Convenient
true.
buses carry spectators who inspect with delight the animals in replicas of their natural habitat. The giraffe, quaintly dignified. Our old reliable friend, the elephant, never failing delight of children.
Enclosures look like that
Nature's
anymore.
crown, the show-off bear.
This is interesting to see what they highlight and like what they talk about and like what was going on at that time. This is a great thing to see about the American High. You know what was going on at the time in Southern California, what it looked like, what was being built. They put a lot of focus on libraries and museums and the observatory, and they're talking a lot about the movie industry and TV, and like it's very interesting what they were at parks and the beach. So there was a lot of civic pride building up their infrastructure, making things, people friendly.
This is pre-bridge. Oh my God.
The other end.
We're not a bridge. Pre-bridge.
This
The ferry.
is the Coronado
Okay.
Hotel, a magnificent hostelry, which has been a delightful part of Southern California life for many years. Its friendly, old-fashioned elegance is traditional. Its brand of warm hospitality unsurpassed. And within a stone's throw of San Diego lies another land, Mexico. Warm, typically Latin, and friendly to all who cross its border here at colorful Tijuana.
Wow.
This
Yeah, there's
is
a
an easy
bridge
trip,
Coronado
too.
that
You
built
may
in
cross here from
1967.
country to country with no passport problems. And the land that lies beyond is truly enchanting. Tijuana is a colorful border town devoted to gaiety.
It's
Quaint
Tijuana.
shops
There's
and
no
cafes
A.
line the streets.
Say that again.
It's Tijuana. There is
Oh.
no A. It's not Tijuana. It's
Really?
And they find
I did not know that. Like, I see it spelled, Tijuana.
Pictures taken astride
It's
this
crazy
river.
how I've always heard it pronounced Tijuana. Ain't that
Yeah.
some shit?
Yeah.
Palm Springs is the queen of
I've been to Palm
resort.
Springs. I've hung out there
The
before.
gala spirit takes complete
Great.
charge each year when Circus Week rolls around. Palm Springs' #1 citizen, Charles Farrell, looks on with interest at the pom-pom girl.
Bob Hope is in
What now? Is this Billy the Kid? No, Jerry the Colonna. An eminent scion of California, Leo Carrillo.
We named the State Beach named after him.
Won't you come out to Palm Springs and join the fun? This young lady will be glad to move over and make room for you.
As long as you have air conditioning.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's because of the mofo out there. That's one thing I remember about Palm Springs, just being so hot.
It's like we went up into the mountains one day. Oh, forget it.
Rails speed traveler through this colorful panorama to New Year's Day in Pasadena. Thousands of rapt spectators view the incredibly lovely tournament of Roses Parade. Communities of all California and beyond spend months preparing floats to dazzle the audience and compete for prizes.
Yeah, great unless you
Beautiful girls add a final touch of beauty to the symbolic creation. Perhaps no other event so fully represents the beauty and spirit of Southern California.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see what our American High looks like. Hopefully, our first turning. I guess I should stop calling it the American High. That was what it was called after World War II. We're gonna get a whole new name.
American High.
Yeah, we're gonna get a whole new name for our first turning.
The higher American High.
Yes.
Highest American High. I've never actually seen the Rose Parade live. I've always watched it on TV.
Yeah.
But I have gone to the viewing of the floats afterwards.
Okay.
And growing up, my uncle's best friend was a float designer.
Oh.
And yeah, and
I didn't know that was a career.
Oh my gosh, it was an amazing career. He would begin work on the floats a year in advance. He would, sketch them out. And they would do a whole thing, and then then they would craft them. My uncle rode a couple of the floats once or twice, and it was interesting to see, how much work goes into one of those floats. For the
they're not easy.
And then you go and look at them up close and personal, and you actually see all the flowers on there, and you're just like, okay, this is crazy that you people do this.
Yeah. We always had a big thing.
You do, but I'm not sure what the ROI is here, But
did you not do float building for school when you were at home? We had homecoming parade every year, and we built floats.
Didn't have any sports. I didn't have sports, so we didn't have a real homecoming.
Gotcha.
We had some sort of. I think we had some sort of touch football game between the seniors and the faculty, but I don't think it was anything exciting.
Gotcha. We have homecoming every October, and it's the week before we have a parade every year on homecoming day, and so the couple weeks before the parade, each class does float building, and so you have your freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior, and so you have to build your float for the parade. And that was always a big deal when I was in school, was float building. So that's the only experience I have with float building, and knowing how tedious and how difficult it is to make something look good.
Yeah, my high school was really lame. We didn't have any sports. We didn't have any drama club. All of our extracurricular activities were like competitions for school stuff. We did really well in science Olympiad and mock trial. And I did, academic league, which was trivia, college bowl.
More intellectual stuff.
Yeah, I went to a nerd school. It was
that's okay. That's okay. Did those floats smell amazing? Do the Rose Parade floats smell amazing?
They do. They stink up Pasadena nice for a few days until they start rotting. But they do. They smell great. And boy, let me tell you something. If you really want to work out, go view those floats afterwards. It's like $12 or something like that to get in.
Yeah.
But, they line them up and down the streets for miles, and
cool.
It's really, really amazing. The Rose Parade is the only parade I actually care about, and I do miss it every year. But I always watch the highlights. I always like go looking through the floats. It's not the same. When I was growing up, we had Bob Edwards and what was her name? The other one. We had the same two announcers for the Rose Parade every year, and they got
see that.
And it was not the same anymore.
I hate when that happened. Yeah, I know. I get it.
He was the guy who was the Bob Eubanks. Bob Eubanks, the Stephanie Edwards.
Oh, you got there.
Eubanks from the Newlywed Game.
Yes, I was getting ready to say that was.
Yeah, no, that was his.
The Macon Whoopi guy. Yeah.
Do you know actually the reason why he got famous? He was a DJ, and he brought the Beatles to the Hollywood Bowl. Oh, he was the one who got them booked at the Hollywood Bowl.
I did not know that. I did not.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Useless trivia that you need to know. But it's also
I love useless trivia.
Lore. It's Los Angeles lore because he was a DJ on Los Angeles stations and he brought the Beatles, and that's how he got.
Well, ain't that something? That's so cool.
And then he became Bob Eubanks that you know from Newlywed.
The Whoopi guy, yeah. All right. Next week, we're going to be diving into the second turning, chapter 7, from 1964 to 1984. This will be a fun one to go through, I think, since this is when Gen X entered the chat. So it will be a good discussion, and we'll watch some stuff from the 60s and 70s next week as well. So,
oh boy,
I know.
70s. I have such fond memories.
Yes. So be ready for that.
I have no memories of the 60s because I wasn't alive. 70s, what do I remember? Nixon, Watergate, oil crisis. bicentennial bullshit.
Bicentennial bullshit. I'm going to have a huge bicentennial live stream on the 4th of July.
That's what I liked the bicentennial.
Okay.
It was bullshit. It was jingoistic, yay, and it was every stinking where. And the whole lead up was so big, and then it happened, and the rest of the year we were like, who cares? That was nice.
You were 5.
Yeah, July 5th, it was like bicentennial what? I swear to God, it was the biggest letdown in all. We had the great thing, the ships and all that, and then nothing. It was,
there were a lot of there was a lot of good
orders were fun to look for the next couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a few of those when I was little. All right. Well, next week it's all about the second turning. Grindleson, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate it as always. For those of you that want to join me tomorrow night on Discord, we're watching Little House and Cobra Kai. Thursday, we are watching Incredible Hulk and Las Vegas. Friday night, 100K live stream. I have a special guest. Patrick Labrato will be joining me. So lots of stuff to do this week. My new video will come out at some point. Who knows when? We'll see. Have a good night, Grindleson.
You too. Take it easy.
Thank you, guys.